For over 50 years, we've evolved from an offset printing business into what is now a 360-degree solution for businesses that are looking to brand their workplace. What does that mean? In short, we're an experienced team that helps businesses translate their company brand into their workplace with a proven strategy for success. I've watched companies invest heavily in a rebrand and completely ignore their office. Then they can't understand why they lose top talent the first 30 seconds after someone walks through their door. We manage design, fabrication, and installation all under one roof. A proven system for turning your office into an undeniable recruiting magnet. I'm about to call out a nationwide retailer that everyone knows. They've built their entire brand around making home life easier, cleaner, and more organized. At one point, they had over 1,500 stores, but the second you walked inside, the brand promise fell apart because somehow a store built around organization looked like your closet just exploded. You may have already guessed it. I'm talking about Bed Bath & Beyond. Bed Bath & Beyond built an online brand story around 3 promises. We make home life easy, more comfortable, and more organized. Walk into one of their stores and the experience contradicts all 3 within seconds. The store flow just feels uneasy. It has this strange circular pattern that immediately feels off. The store is overcrowded with products. It creates something called purchase paralysis, too many options. It forces a customer to be overwhelmed and they can't make a decision. If your brand is about home ease, the store has to feel comfortable and inspiring. Same holds up with your office. Your brand needs to present itself in every area of your office, not just in the first 30 seconds. Most business owners treat the office as a functional space. Yes, the office needs to function and flow correctly. That's a given. Here's what's overlooked though. Your office is one of the only opportunities for someone to experience your brand. Most business owners just don't think of this. It's treated like an afterthought, if it's even thought of at all. Your office is a physical touch point that someone gets to interact with. Your website, your pitch decks, your marketing collateral, they're all digital expressions of who you are and what your brand is. Your office is the one place someone gets to physically connect with your brand. If everyone knows first impressions matter, why do smart companies keep ignoring their physical space? Smart companies keep ignoring their physical space because of 3 fundamental misunderstandings about what workplace branding actually is. Companies that think you put a logo on the wall and now have a branded space, that's not correct. And I'm going to tell you why. Misconception number 1, if we have our logo on the wall, we have our colors and our tagline somewhere in the office, we've gone ahead and branded our space. That's flat out wrong, not to mention a huge missed opportunity. Your brand is not a logo. Your logo and colors, their brand visual identity, which it's important, but it's not your actual brand. The brand is way more than that. Your brand is a feeling or it's an experience someone has when they interact with it. A logo on the wall does not automatically make the space feel like a branded company. Here's the thing. A company may have a beautiful branded guideline with perfect typography and polished messaging. But if the office feels generic and sterile, this is where the disconnect lives. Misconception number 2. Companies treat workplace branding as a finishing touch because it's just not thought about. When a company's relocating, the conversation is usually driven by the facilities team or someone in finance. It gets looked at like a real estate transaction. Most companies that do this miss out on a major opportunity to leverage their workplace. It eventually gets realized in the process, but then it's treated like an afterthought, a decoration. Misconception number 3. The multi-vendor coordination nightmare. No one owns the process. Each discipline passes down the idea to the next. So the architect's vision of a bold premium brand story needs to be translated multiple times. What you end up getting is a reception logo and a quote near the break room. The big grand idea doesn't get protected and the end result suffers. Your office needs to translate your brand into a feeling. You need to feel this using materials that create connections to the brand. There will be moments throughout the space where you help people feel who you are as a company. Think of your logo as if it was a signature, not as the story, which brings me to what's happening in the first 30 seconds when someone walks through your door. Candidates will judge your company in the first 30 seconds. So if your office doesn't back up your brand promise, you've already lost them. When a client or candidate walks into your office, they're not consciously analyzing your space like an interior designer would. They're not thinking, oh, what an interesting material you used here. Or, this palette is beautiful. Or great usage of dimensional signage. They're not doing that. They're making gut judgments almost immediately in the first 30 seconds. They're picking up signals. Does this place feel alive or dead? Does it feel premium or cheap? A candidate is quietly asking themselves, can I see myself working here? A client is thinking, can I trust these people with my business? A partner is thinking, does this company feel as strong in person as it did online? That's the 30-second test. It's not about whether your office is fancy. It's about whether the office feels aligned. The viewer is forming an opinion before you say a word. The space is already telling them whether or not your brand is real or if it's just a facade. According to Gallup's State of American Workplace report, companies with highly engaged workforces outperform their peers by 147%. If your office fails the 30-second test, you're not just losing candidates, you're losing revenue. Now, if the broken approach is coordinating multiple vendors and treating the office as an afterthought, what does the right approach actually look like? Top companies don't coordinate vendors. They partner with one accountable team who manages strategy all the way through the installation. Audible turned their lobby into an immersive exhibit that made 3,000 employees want to stay during brutal growing pains. That's what workplace branding can do when it's done right. You may know Audible. It's an Amazon company. They're headquartered in Newark, New Jersey, about 25 minutes outside of Manhattan. Has a lot of history in that town, and it's their grassroots. The company had seen tremendous growth in capturing top talent. To come all the way out to Newark was a struggle. The existing office space was crammed over 6 floors. 3 doors down, they bought this cathedral church that was abandoned. It was vacant for almost 50 years. Audible was going to rehabilitate it. They brought on Spectre Group architects to reimagine this cathedral and transform it into a multi-floor masterpiece with all the latest technology, all while retaining the beauty of the original cathedral. Over the next few years, a stunning workplace by Spectre Group would come to life. The client asked us to make some poster boards that could live in the lobby, explaining to the team, hey, just hang in there with us. We have something very special we're working on, so don't jump ship just yet. We knew right away that we could do something better than poster boards on an easel. What if we turned the lobby into this exhibit, something that would be immersive and let you know what was to come? Together with the brand director and Spectre Group, we developed what would become this immersion booth. It was an exhibit you couldn't ignore. Stained glass arches that simulated the cathedral just a few doors down. Inside this 40-foot-long experience was a journey you walked through that told the entire story of this church. Its history was rich and full of fun facts. We found interesting artifacts that were discovered during the construction process that we displayed within this booth. As you made it to the end of your walk, you learned what this church would become, how it would support the Audible family and be an amazing place to call home. It even had a live feed time lapse of what was the latest with the construction efforts. Had this been a handoff project, there is no way the end result would have executed the way it did. I guarantee the concept would have gotten vetoed early on and watered down to just basically foam core posters on an easel. The strategy, design, fabrication, and installation all needed to coordinate this effort in order to execute as seamlessly as it did. The end result was a success because you couldn't ignore this exhibit. It was beautiful and it told a story you wanted to be part of, ultimately strengthening retention, giving hope to the team that was dealing with these major growing pains. An integrated approach means the brand idea, the design concept, and the fabrication, along with the installation, they all need to be developed together, not passed down from one to another like a bad game of telephone. All these steps need to work together from the beginning and in parallel. When this is done correctly, you have a strategy that is clear to everyone involved. Stop asking, what should the walls look like? That's the wrong starting point. The biggest mistake people make when translating brand to space, they jump from value to visual too fast and lose the feeling entirely. The framework we use starts with values. We then move to behavior, emotion, moment, and lastly, design expression. Step 1, values. Strip the values down. Strip them down to what they actually mean inside the walls of your company. Dig deeper. Dig deeper than what a typical core value word would be. It ultimately needs to translate to a feeling. That feeling needs to be expressed in design. That's what makes it true. Step 2, behavior. Turn each value into a behavior. This could be the most important step. Don't ask how to show integrity on a wall. Ask how integrity shows up here. Integrity might show up as transparency or clear communication, ownership, doing the right thing, or standing behind your work. Innovation becomes we prototype, we test, we improve, we solve problems creatively. Customer first becomes we make a client journey simple, clear, and confident. Collaboration becomes we make ideas visible, we invite input, and we remove silos. Take collaboration. You don't just write the word collaboration on a wall and call it done. That feels more like a hostage note from a marketing department. First, you have to find what the collaboration actually means for your company. Real collaboration means space makes it easier for people to see ideas, share information, solve problems, work across departments without friction. Do not start with design. Start with behavior. Ask yourself, when our company collaborates well, what are people actually doing? For 71 Visuals, collaboration means sales, design, production, and installation are all aligned. People can see the project status clearly, problems are solved before they become field issues, teams share knowledge instead of working in silos, the customer's vision survives from the concept to install. So the value is not just working together. Collaboration equals shared visibility, plus cross-functional problem solving and fewer handoff failures. Now you can design for that. Before you design anything for your office, run this exercise. List your company's core values. For each value, write down the actual behavior that value creates when it's happening. Then ask, what in the physical space would make that behavior easier? That's your design brief. Everything else is decoration. Before you hire anyone, here's 3 red flags that will tell you if a vendor is going to waste your time, your money, or credibility. If a vendor immediately jumps into visual concepts before understanding your business, run. Here's what to listen for instead. Red flag number 1. The vendor immediately starts with visual concepts before they even understand the business. Someone who knows about workplace branding is going to ask good questions. Who's this space for? Is this someplace that customers come to often? Is it supposed to be a showroom space? Or is it more employee focused? What should someone entering the building feel within the first 30 seconds? What do candidates, clients, and employees need to believe after walking through it? Red flag number 2. They only talk about capabilities. We do wall graphics, we do dimensional letters, we do acrylic signs, we do window film. That's great, but workplace branding is not about the product category, it's about the outcome. The right partner should talk about the audience experience, brand alignment, employee pride, recruitment, impact, culture, and storytelling. If every answer is product first, the final environment will feel like a decoration, not branding. Red flag number 3, they separate design from fabrication and installation. A vendor who does not understand strategic workplace branding treats the process like a handoff. Design something pretty, send it to the production, hope it installs okay. A strong workplace branding partner knows that strategy, design, and fabrication and installation, they all have to work together. If they're not asking about how it's being built and install questions during concepts, then they're setting the client up for a really nice surprise on installation day. If the conversation sounds like, we'll figure it out later, buckle up because your budget's about to start smoking. If you're the brand director and it's your responsibility to find good resources to help you with workplace branding, ask a few key questions. Question 1, before you design anything for us, what do you need to understand about our business? A strong vendor is going to talk about who's the audience, what's the culture, do you do any recruiting from this space? Question 2, how do you manage the entire process from design through installation? If they say, we partner with, or we coordinate with, or that's a fragmented model. You're back to managing vendors. Question 3, can you show me a project where the brand idea survived from concept to install without getting watered down? If they can't show you proof of that, they're not protecting the vision. When you're vetting vendors, bring a list of 3 questions. Write down their answers verbatim. The vendors who dodge the questions and give vague answers are showing you exactly what working with them feels like. Your office is already telling a story. The only question is whether the story is the one that you want to tell. Most companies leave workplace branding to chance. The companies winning the talent war treat it as a strategic asset. If done right, you could build a recruiting magnet that can't be ignored. If you're a brand director in charge of workplace experience and you're realizing your office might not be telling the right story, there's a way to diagnose this fast. Run the 30-second test yourself. Walk in through the front door like a candidate would. What do you feel in the first 30 seconds? Does it feel alive or dead? Premium or cheap? Current or outdated? If the answer makes you uncomfortable, that discomfort, it's the gap between your brand promise and your brand proof. Your office is the only place your entire company lives in 3 dimensions. If the physical space contradicts the promise, the viewer defaults to what they can see and touch, not what you told them online. This is why candidates walk in and immediately recalibrate. This is why clients question whether or not you're the right partner. This is why employees feel disconnected from the company's narrative. The office either validates your brand or destroys it. There's no neutral. If this video helped you think differently, subscribe. There's a lot more where this came from.